Could we press for a very simple answer to one question? Do you hate all white people?
I don't think it's a fair question. The white man doesn't even come into my attitude. Mr. Muhammad teaches us to love our own kind and let the white man take care of himself. For a white man today, sir, after kidnapping millions of black people from Africa, stripping them of all human characteristics and relegating them to the role of chattel or cattle or animals, commodity, merchandise that could be bought and sold at will, and then 100 years since the Emancipation Proclamation, using every type of deceptive method to further us into slavery, called second-class citizenship, I think that it would take a whole lot of nerve for white people today to ask Negroes, do they hate them?
You're perhaps right. Certainly nobody would say, nobody with a sense of reason would say that all Negroes should love all white people. Let me put it another way, if I may. I think this is an important point. The popular conception is that it is basic to the Muslim tenets that all Negroes hate all white people. You have said essentially that this is not true. Now, to personalize it for a moment.
The problem isn't personal, and it's not individual. Our problem is collective. And just as Negroes suffer collectively from the collective attitude of white people in this country, you can't approach it on an individual basis. And this is where whites make their mistakes today. You should ask the Negroes who are being bitten by dogs after professing love for white people. If you notice, they accuse Mr. Muhammad of teaching hate. Well, Martin Luther King teaches Negroes to love all white people, no matter what they do to you, and the same whites whom he teaches Negroes to love stick dogs on him, stick dogs on their children, dogs on their women, and dogs on their babies. So I think it's very hypocritical on the part of whites to accuse Mr. Muhammad of a hate teacher because he says separation, and then stick dogs on Martin Luther King, who is teaching integration. It means that no matter what the Negro does, he is not going to get along with white. So I think that Mr. Muhammad's whole philosophy is more intelligent than Mr. King's.
The question of the Negro who is attacked by the dog hating the white man who is responsible for that certainly would not enter the mind of most rational people. It certainly would not enter mine. It would be just as wrong for him to hate me, whom he has never seen, because a white man in Birmingham set a dog upon him, as it would be for me to hate him simply because he's black and I've never seen him. Would you agree with that?
Well, coming out of a courtroom just now, where 14 Negroes are being prosecuted by white prosecutors, being judged by a white judge, being brought before an all-white jury, makes it almost impossible for me to think that even the well-meaning whites number a sufficient quantity to bring about a situation where black people in this country, even those who love whites and trust whites, will ever get a fair shake or a fair break, even in the court.
Again, I must say I think this is a generality. I don't think all Negroes should love all whites or vice versa. I think we have a right, all people have a right to be discriminated.
Well, as Muslims, we judge a man according to his behavior, according to his conscientious behavior. And you'll find that all of the injustices that black people are crying out against in this country are being inflicted upon them by whites. It is the whites who are depriving our people of civil rights. It is whites who are depriving our people of implementing what the Supreme Court decision said should be implemented. Wherever black people turn, they are facing the hostility of whites, so that when you get the collective pulse beat of Negroes in this country, you'll get a truer picture of how our people think. You can't go up to an individual and ask him what does he think. How do all of you think who are catching hell collectively at the hands of white people collectively? Now there are a few individual Negroes who have escaped, who are handpicked, and who are allowed to sit next to the white man in high places. You ask one of them how he feels, naturally he's going to say hooray, hooray, hooray. But when you go to the masses of black people who are still catching this hell, I don't think you'll get any hoorays from them.
White race, is there any truth in this?
I've never heard that. I do believe, though, that most whites admit today that if the white race keeps going as it is, it will destroy itself.
And probably destroy the Negroes along with it.
It will destroy itself. Pharaoh destroyed himself, but he didn't destroy the Hebrews. Nebuchadnezzar or Belshazzar in Babylon destroyed himself, but he didn't destroy the Hebrews. When a people believe in God, then God is sufficient as their protector. And what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us as Muslims is to turn toward God. Stop trying to imitate the white man and please the white man, but imitate God and please God and get on God's side. And then when this great catastrophe strikes, those who are on God's side will receive God's protection. And as Muslims, this is what we believe. This is why we try and withdraw from any society or group of people who live an ungodly life. We want to please God, not our slave master.